Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm your host, Bob DeMarco. Coming up, a cool new knife from the James brand. I get a new custom knife, and then we talk about the best new brands of 2021. There have been a scad of them, and a whole bunch of our trusted names in knife YouTubers have been picking up on these new brands, and they all seem to pass a certain smell test in terms of level of fit and finish and design and materials. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts about that later tonight. Dion, good to have you here. Hello, knife friends, he says. Dark Gravity, chop, chop. Good to have you here, sir. Chris Bladoga. He's been, let's see, what is he? I can't remember what you were posting, but you were posting some really cool knives like 2 nights ago that I was like, oh, I didn't know we had those. Michael, good to have Michael Morgan in the house. Blame Dexter. Hello, sir. Hello. Assuming you are a sir. This old sword. Good to have you here, Dave. Evening blade lovers. Check out your Cogent Quotient. Yes. Dave just put up a video on the Cogent, the Wii knife, and he's got 2 of them. He's got the Damascus, and then he's got the G10 natural G10. I have the purple one in my family Amazon bin. I don't know how it got in there, but I need to place this order post haste because there's a lot of stuff in there that we need for Christmas. Caleb, good to have you here, man. Caleb Townsend, howdy. Ryan Northcode 1229, Evening Junkies, Bob and Jim, good to have you here, sir. Always a pleasure. Rocksoft Canada in the house. Always good to have representation from the Great White North. Kevin Moore, what's up, Knife Nation? Good to have you here, Kevin. Good to see you here. So I just wanted to, before we get to the pocket check, I've had this for a few weeks, but I'm not sure how much I've talked about it, but I love it, and I keep coming back to it. And that's the Nettle, the Arcona Nettle, designed by Ivan Braganets. This is the one I got from Levon, from Russia with Levon, and it's just it's a really great front flipper. I always kind of have felt with the front flippers I've experienced, and to be fair, that's not too many, but I've always kind of felt like, yeah, it sort of works. It works, but you have to go through too many sort of acrobatics, to make it work smoothly. But with this one, it feels really great. And I think that's just because this is a 2nd or 3rd generation front flipper, and people, companies, designers have dialed in the concept. So what are your favorite front flippers? This was not part of my pocket check today, but it has been regularly. This is one that I bring with me to work, and when appropriate, just fidget with it, because this is a great worry stone right here. What a great knife. So what do you guys think about front flippers in terms of best front flippers? The Nettle is light. Yes, I agree. It is really light and very comfortable. It's got a very neutral but very comfortable grip. Hey, Ketmuk, good to have you here. We're talking about front flippers. I'm wondering, do you have any front flippers? Do you even have any front? Well, this is my first one, and no, I shouldn't say first one in a long time. The last one I had was the Metamorph, and I sold my Metamorph a long time ago. I regret almost every knife sale. Not that I miss it, not that I've gone to the case and reached for it and it hasn't been there, and I'm walking off with a phantom knife. But yeah, I'd love to still have that around. That was such a beautiful design, but I felt like the front flipper on that wasn't too good because it kept stabbing me. So, yep, love this thing. Love it. Let me know what you think about what front flippers are the best. 0 front flippers, says Ketmuk. Yeah. I imagine so. But you are a fixed blade guy too, on the whole, right? Would you say that's a fair characterization? Oregon Knife Guy says my favorite front flipper is the QSP Ganet. The Ganet. Let's see. Let us see. Oops. Oh, I'm so sorry. QSP Ganet. I'm gonna save the screen. I'm gonna share the screen here. Oh, that's a nice looking knife. All right, let's see. Let's do this. And okay, share. Sorry, I'm sounding now. This is like that commercial. Don't become your parents. Share screen. I'm gonna share a tab here. I apologize, people. Here we go. Okay, this is gonna work. Watch this. Okay, first time doing it. The QSP Ganet. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I'm coming around to carbon fiber now that they're making so much more interesting um, versions of carbon fiber. And right here, you see this canvas micarta and the interesting sort of carbon fiber here, and that cool signature pivot. I love it. I love it. I would be definitely down for that. And I'm assuming that it flips well. I think now every front flipper must be, getting dialed in there. So yeah. That has been on me a lot. Buddha Flash, good to have you here. Buddha Flash, do you have any front flippers? And if so, which ones do you think are the best? NAF Sergeant, best front flipper I've experienced so far is a Trevor Berger. Ooh, very nice. By the way, good to have you here, sir. I liked your tour knives video. Chris says the Boker Plus Hunter by HEA is not bad. Okay, cool. We're gonna be talking to HEA here in the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to talking to him. But I always loved that design. I don't have it. It was always a skosh too small, so good excuse not to get it. Buddha Flash says not a big front flipper guy. Only one I have is the Rocot. Oh, that's another good one. That's another good one. Also designed by Ivan Braganets, and I would argue maybe even a handsomer knife than this. But having tried both, this one I think, well, it's a later design. I think it has a superior front flipper. And that's not me dissing your Rocot. Dave says favorite front flipper is the petrified fish beluga. So petrified fish and beluga is a whale, so they're mixing their metaphors there. I don't know the beluga. I got to check that out. I was looking at the very first petrified fish that came out, and Dave, I think you have that one with those two swoops on the top and the sort of bellied Warncliffe. It's really cool looking. It looks like some sort of ancient fish. Caleb says my favorite front flipper is the HEA design Hunter. Okay, so we had someone else just saying the Boker version of that. So I'm seeing a trend there. D-Baz. Evening, Bob and everyone. Good to have you here. D, it's a pleasure. Ryan says, got me a Nettles, and it's great. I agree. Did you get the red one or the blue one? I think there's a red one, right? And I think Dave has that one. James, good to have you here. James Moore. Hey, everybody. Bob, I think I like a good South African front flipper. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, James has a collection to beat the band. And I do remember on a number of occasions commenting on your Instagram post saying, now I don't like front flippers, but that is gorgeous and beautiful. Rocksoft says Space Monkey Knives, small Canadian maker, amazing front flippers and blade styles. So you say Space Monkey Knives, do you? That sounds cool. I haven't heard of them. Space Monkey Knives. Perhaps I will look them up at some point. But I am going to bookmark that for a second. Space Monkey. All right. I'll check that out in a minute. All righty. 9198 David, good to have you here, sir. Front flipper. No, that's not what that is in the thing. Steve says, Steve Clever, good to have you here, sir. Always a pleasure. Favorite front flipper is the petrified fish beluga. Okay, so we've had two belugas and we've had two HEA hunters. So this is cool. This is cool. Apparently my shaman is a front flipper. I can't do it. That's funny, Michael, because almost all of my Emersons are front flippers, to include the Emerson Design 0640 ZT. They all front flip really well just because the tang, most of them, the tang protrudes beyond the front of the handle in sort of a jimped point. And part of that, their thumb ramp wave assembly. So if you just run your finger over it, it front flips. If it's a well broken in and smooth Emerson. Dion says, I don't own any front flippers yet, but getting the beluga for the first. Okay, he's gonna get the beluga as his first one. Saw it on This Old Sword. Oh my gosh, yeah, This Old Sword I think is responsible for selling, or not selling, but for sending a lot of people to a lot of cool knife makers and manufacturers for some of the cool. I keep saying cool. Some of the unique and sort of tactical, but always like unique and artful looking knives that he likes and has in his collection. Scott N, good to have you here, Scott. Evening all, he says. Max the Maker, good to have Max here. I had a Booze Blade Smoke, nice, TM2, and it had bad CQ. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. I know that they just came out with those to a bit of excitement, though they disappeared for a long time, I'd say. They came out hot and heavy. People were really going after those booze blades. They got a lot of good publicity with channels like Birdshot and Nick Shabazz and others. And then it's like you didn't hear about them for a couple of years, and now they're back. So that's good news. JN, hey, good to have you here, JN. So let's talk about pocket checks. We'll continue with the theme of front flipper, but there's some other themes to cover here on this here evening. And let's get to this pocket check. Okay. One unsung hero I have to mention is the keys, and that is the Launch 9 that I keep on my keys. This is a really great knife. It's only opened accidentally once. But you know what? The knife I had on here before, the Cold Steel Micro Recon 1, opened a lot. Scott N says, my 520 has made me embrace front flipper hood. Oh, that's a beautiful knife. That's a beautiful knife indeed. But I'm loving how this is getting all worn on the edges. Of course, it's going to get worn like that. It's anodized aluminum on a keychain, but that was on purpose. James Moore says, small knives really benefit from front flipper designs. My favorite small one is the Berger EXK Plus. Trevor Berger. He's come up twice in this conversation as well. So it's got to be something to it. All right. Next on me today was, as I carry quite often, the Wingard Wearables Quill. It rides down at the bottom of my right pocket. And oddly enough, Dave says another nice front flipper is the Migaron Acri. And yes, it looks like it. And I had the Migaron I don't know what the hell it was called, but I had it for a little while, and that was a nice front flipper. But the interesting thing about this Quill is that it sits in my right pocket, sheathless, with that nice pyramid point and this sort of flat, gouging, scuffing point. And I never ever feel like pokey or anything like that. So I love this thing. And you just reach in your pocket and you pull it out, and you have something like this to carburate the top of your coffee cup, or punch holes in paper for your 3-ring binder. There's defend yourself against foes. It has a lot of uses, and I love it. And it's like a worry stone to me. So I had that on me, and then I had the ultimate hipster knife, the Beer and Sausage from GEC. And actually, I've started using this knife. It's really great. I mean, it's a GEC, of course it's really great, but when I got it, just sort of as an act of mercy from Mike Latham, I thought, well, this is kind of a collector thing, so I'm not even going to use it. But I'm like, what the hell, man? I grew a beard. I like sausage and beer and knives. So what am I doing sleeping on this thing? So I've been carrying this, and just without a slip, just in the bottom of the pocket, and loving it. And I think that my card is going to patina nicely. Okay. Next, I had a lot on me today. In the front right pocket was the detail Mercantile Mark 1. This is the large, and this is one of his first folders, folders in this model or any model ever. And seeing all of his new knives at Blade Show, he has made vast improvements in the mechanics and such. But this is an outstanding knife and has this beautiful natural micarta inlay that just sold me, and a huge, broad, deeply hollow ground blade. So I love this thing. I've been carrying. I realized everything I have on me today is made in America, and almost everything is like handmade in America, not so much the Kershaw. And then the last thing I had on me was my new Tanto fixed blade knife by Hogtooth Knives, the guy who made my birthday knife. as you recall. And this is his like an EDC model. And instead of forging this is 154 cm stock reduction, hollow ground, deeply hollow ground again, very super sharp on that edge. And look at how broad that edge is here. And then this is a G10 and sort of grippy rubberized material for the handle. So this is what I carried today, and I proudly carried each one of these things, and realized kind of halfway through the day, oh, this is very cool. Everything is American, because that I can't say that all the time, and almost everything except for the Kershaw was made by a small outfit, with American workers and craftsmen and artisans making these things, and they're stout and sturdy, and I'm blessed and very, very lucky to be able to have them, because they are all luxury items, I must say. All right, so what did you guys carry today? Let me know. Hey, speaking of Wingard Wearables, hey Zac, how you doing?
Hey, hola. Very good. Am I coming through okay?
You're coming through great. It's good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good to see you.
Well, you have some exciting news that we're going to get to in just a second, but before we do, I just want to give you a little update on my two favorite Wingard wearables right here.
Oh yeah,
I have my Empress Tomahawk, and I have my my regular old back ripper. Regular old meaning original model in the red handle, and so the Empress lives on my bedside table. No sheath, no carry system, no nothing. Next to the flashlight, above other more potent weapons, but this is the first hand tool I would grab. And I practiced on a pumpkin with this, and was amazed, actually, with both of them, how they aptly are named rippers. They do rip right out. I mean, you get it in there, and it like unzips the pumpkin.
Oh yeah, pops right out if you get the extraction angle just right. Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, that's very seasonal tomahawk target right there. Pumpkins.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
very tasteful.
And and it activates the imagination, of course. And then this is the back ripper tomahawk is basically my around the house at night implement, because I always have an implement on me.
Of course. Oh yeah, you got to.
And this is my around the house implement. And hey, good to have Brent here. Howdy y'all, he says. And James Moore says, pocket check Bob, Burger LEX K plus front flipper. Oh, okay, following the front flipper theme with Timascus bolsters, clip and spacer, marble cover. Yowza. Hand rub spear point blade. Nice. James, I'm not surprised. James Moore, Mr. James Moore, Mr. Merkin, President Merkin Muffley always has outstanding, exquisite pieces on him. I am not surprised. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. So what were you carrying today? You must carry a knife on the daily, or do you?
Oh, me. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have a, let's see, my Molly back ripper in my gray sweatpants. I'm not standing up because gray sweatpants are infamous for printing. And then I've got the Quill behind the ear, slim Quill.
Very nice.
And Stingray Tomahawk, my personal beater. So I've been rocking that with a underarm carry system. I'm really liking that. So I've been wearing that a lot, sprinting and doing push-ups and rolling around the ground and stuff, just stress testing all the different ways that, customers can figure out how to carry their products. And then finally, the most practical, relatable. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
The classic, yes. Which really, when it pairs with the Quill, is like perfection, because these two together are like under 1.8 ounces, and it's like, this is no good for like prying task, or if I'm doing rudimentary cutting like at work, where my surface I'm working on is like steel, like you got a steel table, you got to split through like thin materials, that sort of thing. I don't want to ruin a slicing edge that way. So they pair well that way. But I don't always carry only Wingard Wearables stuff, because we haven't designed a knife yet. That's got to happen. It's in the works, long ways off, but it's on the next ridgeline.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's my EDC for today. So
very, very nice. All right, we're gonna get into that other Tom. Well, I want to talk about that in a second. Don't put that one away yet either.
Oh, this one? Okay.
Yeah, don't put that away either. I have a question to ask, but I want to say hi to Shane Gable. Shane, good to have you here, man, as always. And also Caleb Townsend had his CKF Brutus and SBDK. Oh, Sharp by Design Knife Nuts Podcast Edition Mini Typhoon. Very nice, Caleb.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got a sweet collection. Dave, carrying my Tops Rapid Strike. Love that. Fixed blade today. Have to blame you for that one, Bob. Well, thank you. I'll take that. Love how Tops went with 154 cm on that one and reduced the usual overall thick blade stock. Yeah, for sure, because that's a small fixed blade knife you're going to have close to your body. You don't want the you don't want the usual 1095. Elementum button lock, very nice. I've been digging the button locks and the Civivis recently. So before Zach, let's see, Steve had a petrified fish beluga. This knife keeps coming up. K110 and brown micarta. K110 is like the bowler version of D2, I think. Hey guys, Ezekiel and Jonathan carrying the Best Tech Operator, given to us by Stella's Knife Reviews today. Very nice. That's a cool looking knife too. Again, it's that sort of swooped, slightly bellied Warncliffe that I love. Dion Page says, Cold Steel Immortal and my Winchester Trapper made me leak red stuff today. Ugh, God.
Ooh, it happens.
It does happen. Zach, I want to show you what I pair your tomahawks with, knife-wise. And they are knives of my own making, and the reason I do that is because they fit aesthetically. Okay, so with the back ripper, it's usually this one, which is based on a Filipino Talibang.
And you made that one?
Yeah, I made this one. It's
How
AEBL.
thin is the blade?
It's what is that? An 1/8 inch, I think.
Okay,
it's pretty thin, and then it's chisel ground, like the one on the wall behind me. The smaller version, and micarta. And I had them, or not had them. I just left that heat treat scale on there because I thought it looks cool and it looks rustic, and I think those go together, and they're fun to kind of swing around together. I don't recommend it unless you're, unless
that's a good scalping knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, here's
body
my
trophies. That's okay.
Body trophy. I like that. This. So, and with the Empress, it gets my Road Warrior knife, which is
nice.
Yeah. Same AEBL, hardened to 61, and also chisel ground. But I think it's a cool combination.
Do you have carry systems for those two knives as well?
I made a Kydex sheath for the first one. But I have not made one. I don't like making Kydex sheaths, and I have a whole bunch I have to make now for knives that I've made over the past couple of years that are just sitting fallow that I could be carrying, just for fun.
So I see a comment there. Please tell me more about the thumb quill. Are you just talking about this?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want me to go into that here, or?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Yeah, so this is the Quill. It's it looks a little bit like the Nike swoosh, I guess, but it's actually designed to get tucked behind the ear or worn in the bottom of your pocket or tucked in your waistband. But it's a diamond cross-section curved hand-forged spike with a chisel tip here and a sort of a blunt diamond tip here. And you can use it like an awl or a scraper tool or a prying tool. And it's made from 303 stainless steel, so it's not heat treated to high hardness. It can withstand a lot of like tough prying task, and if you got to touch up the tip, it's done very quickly. So it's sort of like a knife saver for like if you got a slicing pocket knife like a slip joint, you don't want to subject it to a lot of abuse. Very lightweight tool, easy to use for that kind of a more abusive task. So
I have a growing list of things that it's good for. And one thing I really like it for, one thing I really like the chisel tip for is removing staples. It's actually this thing is great for removing staples. You can get under with the spike under each little curved part and then go under. Yeah, you get it. All right.
No, I hadn't thought about that. That's really good.
It is a multi-tool, but it is the most simple multi-tool out there.
Yeah, more than meets the eye. So deceptively simple. And my wife designed it. So not to sound like I'm an arrogant, like, oh yeah, look at this brilliant thing. My wife designed it. She was really good at that. So
Yeah,
it's really and we do have these in stock. So check them out. Shameless plug.
Oh, please, shameless away. And this was the result of your wife feeling like self-defense items marketed towards wives or towards women were corny and kind of cliched and not very useful.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, like pink camouflage on a handgun or something, and not easy for women to carry, but that is easy. I've actually tested it, and she carries hers too. Like she carried hers earlier today when she had to walk around the neighborhood. There were like dogs loose and stuff. So, something easy to carry this on you. And you can shower with this on. You can conceal carry it naked if you had to. I've done that. So.
That's cool.
Not around people showering.
No, but when you're under
awkward.
Yeah, when you're working undercover on the strip beach or whatever,
or camping, those sketchy showers at a campsite. Like anything bad ever happens at a campsite, but it's like it gives you the willies. So
Shane says, "Why don't I have an ear quill?" And I would ask you the same question: why do you not have an ear quill? These things are awesome, and you got the XL and the slender version. I got the slender version for my wife, and I got this one for me. And
we need to do a YouTube video soon on like how to size them and stuff. So we had questions on that, and it's like, all right, it's hard to like describe on like an internet post. So we'll do a video on that soon.
So Kevin, your videos are awesome too. By the way, you guys should check out his channel. His videos are
pretty cringy.
His videos they're always really authentic.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Speaking of which, I was told to have good lighting.
Yeah.
And so off screen here is like one of those Amazon special like lights with the umbrella and stuff. And underneath it are both my cats. They're like high on catnip. We tried to tucker them out. If you give them catnip early enough, they just like pass out. They're underneath the tripod. I'm waiting for this thing to topple. So
oh my God,
I'm hoping not. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, it's quite all right. I just wanted to say, Kevin Moore, there is no hope. You're down that rabbit hole. You're just gonna have to climb your way out of it. But at least it will be easy because you have all these EDC items that you've spent money on the way down to help you climb your way out. So it'll work great. EDC Oz says I would neck carry it. Yeah, I've seen people make cool little Kydex rigs for it that just kind of cover up both points and then have maybe one or two grommets. And and then just the being wedged in is what gives the friction. All right, so I really want to talk about the news of your latest product release.
Of course,
tell us what you got. This is one I've been waiting for.
All right, this is the Stingray Tomahawk. So let me see. Good lighting. There's good lighting.
Can we hang on 1 second? Can we get a link in the chat for the Quill? Okay. I think we can do that. So yes, Blame Dexter. We'll get a link in the chat for Wingard Wearables. It's just wingardwearables.com, right?
Yes, and Wingard is spelled Wingard.
Oh my God! Look at this thing. All right, tell us about the Stingray.
So this is the Stingray Tomahawk. So some of you guys have seen that movie Last of the Mohicans. I saw that when I was way too young, and now like this is what happens. You get obsessed with tomahawk. So this is a style of spike tomahawk is our own design. It's a modern design, but it is based on historic designs that were found in the Iroquois region of influence. So the Iroquois Confederation, very powerful from the 1600s till the late 1700s. Back in the day, a flintlock ignition was pretty crappy. So you had to have a tomahawk readily accessible. And this was sort of a style of tomahawk that was popular. It had a flared chopping blade in both directions, flares both directions, a long spike with a chisel tip, and a fairly short handle. This is just under 13 inches. And that combination of features we found is really good in the throw as it's revolving in flight to get sticks in most of the revolution of rotation, or to do something really painful to the soft target. but it's also a useful, held in the hand for combatives or for utility. And so what we did is, this is a 5160 steel. It is cast. The reason we went with cast is we attempted earlier to do hand forged versions, and it's really difficult to get the metal to move when you're hand forging that much. Plus the eye geometry was fairly thin, and the new version, because we went cast, the eye geometry is much thicker. And this is something cool we did. Back in the 50s, they used to, there was a patent on axes where they ribbed the eye. It had like teeth running down the inside of the eye, kind of like the grooves on a rifling, on the inside of a rifle barrel. And that patent expired in the 80s, and then a bunch of axe manufacturers tried to replicate it. Then, fiberglass and other things came into play, and wood was kind of on the way out. But with tomahawks, because the load is lower, wood is great still. This is a Pennsylvania hickory handle. And so we cast this with 5 ribs going on the inside of the eye, so that we engrave it as we seat the head down on the handle. Then when it's wedged, it is really locked in there.
Wait. I'm sorry. Wait, I had you right up to the very last moment. So you have ribs protruding into the eye space.
Yep. And then that's cast in. That's why we went with, if we had to cast it, we wanted to use that manufacturing technique with as many advantages as possible. So we might as well go with this really complicated inside eye geometry, which would be impossible to hand forge. You would have to do really crazy things to make that happen on a forged head. So we went with cast, and it's heat treated to about 59 Rockwell C, which is a really good tough heat treat for 5160. But when you seat the head, the teeth engrave the wood, the tendon section of the eye, then you wedge it, and then it is really locked in there.
God, that's cool. So it expands out into those. Sorry, I don't mean to get hung up on that, but I think that's a really cool detail, because anyone who has or tomahawks, throws them, or uses hatchets or anything around the camp, like there's always that little bit in your mind that's like, what if the head flies off of this thing?
Yeah, and you definitely don't want that to happen. You want it as secure as possible, and we've stress tested these. We've thrown them really hard.
Check this one out. Sorry to interrupt you, Zach. Hero Stick says, my wife just walked in, saw the tomahawk, and said, dude, we need one of those.
Yes, you do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, you do. Yeah, so actually, this is our heaviest tomahawk we've ever made, the Stingray, and it weighs a little bit less than this delicious can of beer. This delicious can of beer, which is a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I'm not paid to advertise them. 13 ounces. This is just under 13 ounces.
Wow.
And you can wear it under your arm, suspended. The carry system has these, you got Kydex on one side, Kydex for the tip cover. It's tethered with this very strong shock cord that keeps the axe blade and the tip cover in compression. And then you have these very strong plastic clamps with shock cord tethers. And if you can wear this appendix carry if you want, or if you got a big beer gut like I'm starting to get, because hey, Thanksgiving happened. Like I appendix carried this earlier in November hiking around in North Carolina, and it was fine. But Thanksgiving put on some pounds. So if you loop some flat stock paracord, just loop between the shoulders. That's what I have rigged up here. So it's just dangles under the arm, gets out really quick. So that's my personal carry. But this one is Stingray number 7 from our first batch. And all the first batch is spoken for and sold out. But we are working on a second batch, hopefully next week. So that's the Stingray. And, we do all our, because we're a tiny business, we do all the R&D on it and that sort of thing. So it's like, and we work with others to, get some of these made. But anyway.
No,
I see that comment.
No, my friend, my heart is big enough for all blades.
Yeah, you're gonna love everything. But one of the things is like it takes a long time to do all the R&D. Like we had the concept for the Stingray back in like August 2019. Wow. And it's like, what is it now? Oh my gosh, it's November 2021. it takes a long time when you got a full-time job and then this is your
Yeah.
small side hustle. But
Yeah.
we also did our, like, I'm a doodler, so it comes with like an informational card with notes about the design features, which I won't get into because that gets energy draining. And different grips. Oh, hold on. That you can use. There's a lot of different ways to grip it. So it's, that's our. I'm not an artist. I can doodle. Thankfully, with iPad, you can kind of engineer the doodles with like Procreate and these other graphic design tools. Like I'm using it like a childlike doodling skills, but because you can layer it and stuff, you do pretty advanced doodles with it. So I'm happy to use it.
Dude, those look great. Everything. Well, I have 3 of your products, and all 3 of them shipped with one of those cards, with hand-drawn images and handwritten descriptions, and I love them. Actually, I have in my knife case, I have one. I've got a bunch of stuff kind of magneted up, and one of those is up there. It's
that's awesome.
It's for the back ripper. Oh,
well, biggest honor, Empress by the bedside table with a flashlight. You're gonna strobe that home invader.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna scalp them. You'll give them first aid afterwards, so it looks good. When the first responders get there, it's like, well, I tried to stop the bleeding with the scalp. It's okay. But that's really a place of honor because these are designed purpose-built as weapons, but with adjacent utility functions. But that's a real serious thing, to trust, in a tool. So.
And some serious consideration went into it. It wasn't just like, oh, this is cool, I want to keep it close to me. I have the position closest to the bed or closest to the wall. I don't have a lot of room to swing something. I mean, I have other means of protection there too, but this is the most immediate thing that I can grab. It's not locked up, it doesn't need to be extracted, and it gives me adequate clearance to honey duck.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna work. And when you get the Stingray, you can do the Mel Gibson throw to the face.
Well, I just want to with the Stingray, before you put it down, I've seen you do a couple of cool holds where you grab the spike. Tell me the different things that the spike is used for, and yours is unique and different. The spike here I have is it looks more like the Quill. It's sort of a pyramid in shape.
I came in. Yeah, there you go. It's chisel tip. I don't know if you guys have bayonet collectors here, right? Someone comment if you've ever collected bayonets, because I collected bayonets when I was a child. Yes. So you've probably seen that there are bayonets that sort of had screwdriver tips, like the Chinese SKS bayonet, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So the Iroquois had to use like wrought iron for, when they had these things hand forged back in the 18th century. A lot of these were wrought iron tips, which is just pretty darn soft. And they use these things in combatives. So a number of them had chisel tips. And I believe they had an oral history that's long lost, but I believe the chisel tip was chosen to increase the strength of the tip and to reduce the risk of self-injury if in combative someone is grappling and tries to push this against you. Like if you have a needle tip sharp penetrating spike with low force, it could penetrate into your body. And there are examples of historic spike tomahawks that had sharp tips, but they're in the minority. Most of them had blunt tips or chisel tips. Now, because it's a chisel tip, you can do things with the Stingray, like grip it like this. Hold on here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Use it like a hand drill. Or you can use it as a secondary grip for ulu-like utility cuts, or in combatives, do blocks, powerful pull cue, reinforced pommel strike, or slashes. Now, the pull cue, pommel strike, or slashes would be less lethal, compared to just putting this in the brain. But, we were kind of surprised to discover the hickory, pommel makes quite a big hole on flesh and bone.
I'm not surprised. It's kind of like
I was, because I didn't know better till I did the turkey test, and with just arm motion alone, it made a hole the size of your thumb. So I was like, okay, it's less lethal. We won't say it's non-lethal. But yeah, so the two-handed grip's unique because that spike is so long, and because this isn't a needle sharp tip, you can grab it and use it like that. I don't know if historically they ever used them that way, but a number of them had really long spikes with the chisel tip. So maybe they did.
Yeah, and it's also unique in that this is more of a grappling hook, blade pulling kind of thing, and that is more for percussive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Or secondary grip.
Matisfaction says, if I'm swinging an axe at someone, less lethal isn't my concern.
That's true. Yes. The brain doesn't like big pieces of metal hitting it. So, yeah.
But you advocate for EDC tomahawk carrying, so you have to, if you're going to put yourself in that mind frame, you have to
cover the range,
account for the
scalable
escalation
lethality.
of force.
Yep. Yeah,
scalable lethality.
Yeah, and if you have, and that gets into all kinds of, like, that gets into the weeds where it's like, if you have a tool that's only lethal, like a gun, there is no stun, like you can't turn it like a Star Trek phaser to stun, that sort of thing. Right. And I've heard people talk about carrying non-lethal, like pepper spray, that sort of thing, on them with their handguns, so that they can make the case of like, hey, if I didn't think my life was at risk, I would have used pepper spray, flashlight, this other thing. Instead, I had to transition to this. Well, if you got one tool that can kind of cover that area, it's an option. Not saying it's the best thing ever. It's just an option for people. There's a gap in the market, so we see a capability lacking, and this is one of the options we offer.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if intimidation factor is a thing, probably it's not something you should rely on. I mean, I've witnessed people brandishing weapons, but only showing them off, and then getting their butt kicked. And with a tomahawk, of course, heaven forbid you have to use it, but it seems like the kind of thing that might really make someone pause, unless they have a superior weapon.
Yeah, fortunately, well, actually, we had not all our customers are angels. There was a customer who had a back ripper who was doing sort of street racing stuff in Long Island, and someone did the flashing the handgun at him, and he's a Marine, blood and guts Marine guy who's seen combat, and he said, without even thinking, he grabbed the back ripper and ran at their car, and they drove away. I'm not saying that was a good idea, but they brandished a weapon, and he sort of called it, with just instinctively, with his training that our taxpayer dollars have gone to train him to be super aggressive killer guy. He takes the back ripper because that's the only thing he could legally have on him in New York where he's racing, and charged in there. I would not have done that. Not saying that's like good role model or anything, but they probably didn't want anything to do with that tomahawk, even though they had a superior weapon, right?
Yeah,
they shouldn't have been flashing things around. It was a messy situation. Our customers are great. We love all of them. Not all of them do things that like I would do. So
smack them with the flat, Jan.
Yeah.
So. But I mean, he came at him with his attitude, and his attitude in a tomahawk won the day.
Yeah.
Over like.
Flash on my gun. Yeah.
EDC Oz says, "Don't show anything you're not ready to use."
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was just telling my daughters about this time. I lived in Philadelphia in the 90s, and there was a convenience store that I go to on the corner every day, and I was in there one night, and one guy who worked there, who was particularly kind of mealy mouthed and just seemed like a super pushover, was working the counter, nice enough and everything. And these two young guys were in there, and he accused them of stealing, and they were like, we're not stealing, and we come in here all the time, and it escalated into an argument. And the guy behind the counter pulls out a 38. I'm standing there. I'm like, I'm just trying to buy my ramen, so I can go home and have my bachelor meal. Can I just we pause this conversation for a sec? And the guy pulls out the gun as if to be like,
I'm the boss. Yeah.
And then he put it back under the counter. I was like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. Nothing happened while I was there. I was able to.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. But yeah, that's spicy situation. Yeah, just weapons should not be displayed unless things have already escalated. They should not be displayed to escalate. And
right, exactly.
That's terrible. But Yeah, it's a crazy world out there, and people are going to react to the insanity in different ways. So.
Michael Morgan says the best tool for self-defense is a good pair of running shoes. A Nick Shabazz quote. Yeah, but
if you can, if you don't have kids with you or loved ones,
and
if you're space to move,
if you're in awesome shape,
or if you trip, you could be in awesome shape and you could trip. Most criminal assaults are in a dark environment. You know, you can have your fancy running shoes and have low body fat and be really fast cross-country team. Turn the quarter run and trip and fall and get beaten to death or whatever the hell the horrible people want to do to you. So I don't know. Turning your back against a threat is, and I'm slow, and I had a beer gut. I can't outrun many of people, so. It's not really
and if they catch you and you're winded, it's like, are you
gonna?
And if you don't know how to fight,
I'm gonna be like Lynn Thompson on those videos. I'm gonna be wheezing like crazy.
Oh, but that guy can kick some serious ass.
He would. He's a tank. He would have a sword or something. It would be really great headlines.
Years and years and years of intense training with the best. Kevin Moore says, I'm buying a Quill. My EDC habit radar is on red alert. Yes, Kevin. And look at it this way. You were just talking before about financial ruin from EDC. But you were talking before about how you've gone down this rabbit hole. Look at it this way. Buying a Quill, or actually buying any Wingard Wearables product, is buying something handmade, American, and 100% totally unique. I mean, like this is you've got plenty of cool knives, I'm sure. You've got some flashlights, which I think you flashlight guys call torches. You have all that stuff. You don't have this. This is very unique, and none of your EDC friends probably have that. Scott N says, carry the XL Espada. Make them run. You carry the XL Espada. I just pulled out the XL Espada.
That clicking noise would do it right there. I would crap myself if I heard that clicking noise. That's so audible. And it's shiny too. I mean, you could signal. You could turn your flashlight on it and blind them. You wouldn't even have to use it. You could,
exactly. Just point your torch right at the blade.
Yeah.
I think this thing is beautiful. I'm a big fan of the Navaja of years gone by, or
that has tempted me before. I remember the G10 ones came out, which were substantially more accessible than the the standard version. I was pretty tempted. The pocket clips on some of the Cold Steel guys were pant rippers, though.
Oh, for sure. But I mean,
they're adjustable a little bit.
I always take them off and sand. I pretty much do that with every Emerson. I get a lot of Spydercos, and I just sand a little bit just to, because
or bend a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah. I'll bend a little. Hey, Zac, are you following the knife world at all? I mean, I know you've got your.
I mean, I follow. So I listened to you. I just started listening to the Knife Nuts podcast, but I'm actually listening to their old episodes. So I'm still in 2017 or something. All right. So I'm pretty out of touch. Beyond what you bring, to the knife world.
Blood Groove. Oh well, thank you. Blood Groove says the Quill would make a great stocking stuffer.
Yes, it would. Just don't hide it in the stocking. That would be sneaky.
And if you get two and give one to your wife, like I did, you can present them together and they make a heart, and you look like sensitive but tough, and that's what girls like.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And
Shane says
they dig scars too. So you can scar yourself if you have to.
With this, they don't like puncture wounds. Shane says, exciting. It's exciting that I can carry a self-defense tool that takes up no pocket space. Yeah, it's true. And it's not, and it's, I readily pull this out in meetings and fidget with it, and no one,
it doesn't look like a weapon.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Like this with a Swiss Army knife, it doesn't at a glance look like ninja murdery thing, versus our tomahawks or like the Espada, clearly menacing things. But this is just, it's kind of like Nike swoosh. I don't know how many times I can say that before Nike sues me, but
it's fun. That did not occur to me. To me, the first thing I thought of, first of all, Scott N says Quill might get mistaken for a Bluetooth at first glance. Yes, indeed. So this first made me think of like big Polynesian fish hooks.
Yes.
Like in Moana, which was a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Shane says, from drawing your quill to blocking your face in one motion. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
This is my favorite handhold, like a hammer fist, because you can also use the front as like a knuckle duster.
I like this because it's like sneaky.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
because it's like if you got to draw it from your pocket, like let's say someone's like, you don't know if it's going to have to get into a get off me thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either way, it's pretty discreet either way. But I do like the jab. But this, yeah, definitely works. So
yeah, I have there are boxes, big cardboard boxes for recycling around my office space, and if no one's around, I'll walk by and just boom, like I just put the just a little hole, just a little square hole, just to practice. Yvonne's good to have you here, sir. PSA, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Knives Live 2021 starts, 24 hours live to raise awareness for knife rights. Hope to see many of you there. Yes, that's right. When Shane came on, I was going to mention this. Check this out. This should be a interesting 24 hours of knife content, like many of your favorites. So that should be awesome. And it all goes to benefit knife rights. And who does not think that that's a just cause? So for sure. Thank you for bringing that up. And Shane, thank you for getting that organized. The knife world thanks you indeed.
So, Bob, you were earlier asking me how in touch I was on the knife world. Where was that going?
Oh, I wanted to know if you have any. Hang on. Now that Bob mentions the heart, we may wait till Valentine's Day. Well, no. That's for the Get yourself the XL, and then later get the two smaller ones. That was going. I wanted to see if you had any. Well, first of all, brand preference, but second of all, if you're aware of any of the brands that came out in 2021, because it seems like a whole bunch of them.
I don't know how well I'm keeping up. It's almost like, when I listen to your show or I go on like Blade HQ, like new products, that sort of thing. It has gotten to the point where it's like the beer market. Like, I don't know if you guys shop for beer, you go in the past 10 years, there's every time you look at the shelves, there are so many beers you've never seen before, like companies you've never seen before. So choosing them, it's kind of like a risk. So I wind up eventually gravitating. This is just my mindset. I gravitate to a brand I had experience with before, which is not good, right? Because we're a new brand, Wingard Wearables. Like, I mean, if we're on the hypothetical beer stand and no one has heard of us before, they're just going to pass on by. I love Cold Steel. My knife brands, I've carried Cold Steel for years. I used to carry all kinds of slip joints, like 90s era, like Boker. Like I loved like the slip joints with like the green bone handles. I was a sucker for those. I started to get away from folding knives because I got very defensive focused. Like, hey, I want one tool that can cut open things, but also be used potentially for defensive use. I have never tried an Emerson. I know there were like the pocket wave opening features, and a couple of Cold Steels that I tried on, it was like 50% of the time it would work. Or if you tried to flick it open, it was maybe 2/3 of the time. And I started to gravitate away from like a folding knife as a defensive tool. I'm probably wrong about that because I see a lot of good stuff on like Emerson Wave and some of the other improvements. So I've kind of been out of the folding knife, like as a customer, as a consumer since mid 2000s. So I'm probably pretty out of touch on it. But yeah, Swiss Army knife for like, the old school. I still got, 90s era Bokers that I carry.
Oh God.
I love those.
Me too. I love especially green, like you were mentioning. I have this pickle green bone. But if there, there's this tremendous amount of really high level fit and finish materials in manufacturing for very inexpensive, coming from China, and all these new brands are popping up. Professor EDC says, "Oh heck yeah, it happened to me the other day. I went to get a Head and Shoulders, and there were like 30 of them.
Yeah.
When did it get so complicated to buy a
Yeah,
shampoo?
it's incredible, and it's like, how do you? I don't want to say you can't like trust reviews at all, but it's like, how do you have time to go through the reviews and do your research to pick something new when you just go to something that you knew, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm probably not a good barometer for like a knife consumer.
Well,
kind of dated.
You're so dated.
I am.
Professor EDC. I had literally the same experience last or 2 weeks ago, and by literally I do mean literally. I'm not saying that figuratively, but using the word, because I too get dandruff in the winter, and I had to go get some Head and Shoulders. And I was like, cucumber, like what, like huh, like which one? And so I just ended up, smelling them, and I was like, this smells good, and that's how I bought it.
Reasonable. But it's like analysis
brain.
paralysis. Like there's just so many things to go through. You don't have time to think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we think about knives for product lines, we're going to be researching more on that, because we want to better understand the market. Like way down the line, we may do a folding knife, which is like, to me, the most intimidating, mechanically precise, approach. But it's going to be years away.
It'll be interesting to see how bladed, like how knives will fit in with your aesthetic, because you have a very my mom, by the way, loves both of the tomahawks. My mom nice. Is she's a jewelry maker. She's she's always been an artist, and she's always indulged my my mom and dad got me this for my 50th birthday, and we had it made and everything. So that they've always been very supportive of this. But when I brought when I went home to visit, it was over the summer. It was the Empress, and my mom thought she was so impressed. She said, it's beautiful. It looks like a goat. It looks like, and she was talking about all the, like in it. And so
that makes my day.
Yeah. I was like, my mom.
If you can get someone that doesn't appreciate a blade to look at the blade you designed and they like it, that is a winner. And so my wife, who does not really appreciate, knives and tomahawks and stuff, she is a filter on all these things, and including our upcoming knife designs. And right now they're like fixed blade things. I'm like sworn to secrecy till they become reality. But folding knives is tough. Oh my gosh, there's just so many. I have some concepts that are unique today, but in the years it'll take to get to them, who knows? Someone could come up with it, because people are clever.
It's such a crowded field, especially the folding, because, and why? It's because most everyone feels comfortable with a pocket knife.
Yeah, that's the pie graph of the blade industry. Like, tiny sliver of, that doesn't even exist is like tomahawks, and then fixed blades is pretty big, but pocket knives is like, 3/4 of that easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, that's one of the challenges of being a small maker, small business, is like, it takes so long to get these products out. The more complex they are, the longer it takes. Hopefully years from now, we'll have some folding knife, but in that time, because I know it's going to take years, we're going to be doing research on the folding knife market. And it's helpful, like your podcast, Knife Nuts podcast, very rated R, but also entertaining. But yeah, it is helpful to kind of get the idea from different vantage points, collectors and makers. So very valuable.
Let me show you. Well, people, if anyone wants to chime in with you, I know Petrified Fish is a big one. Funny name for a knife brand, huh? Petrified Fish.
I'm trying to see if I had looked them up, because I think I had heard them either on. Are they new? Are they really new? Okay, I must have heard them on your podcast. Then.
I've only heard of them in the last year, and I heard of them first through This Old Sword Blade Reviews.
Gotcha. Yeah. Keep going.
No, I was going to, this right here. I'm going to show you this. This is a new custom knife that I just got.
That is very pretty.
And it is a stock reduction. So it's a hand ground, hollow ground 154 cm blade by the same guy who made this extravagant forged thing. This is more his like usual like EDC kind of blade thing, knife style thing, and I love it. It fits the hand awesome. And one of the viewers of the show got one of these first at the New England blade show, and sent me a picture of his, and I got in touch with the guy that's Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives, and he had this one just freshly made. And it just so happens I got this thing for maroon handled knives, and I've been wanting a Tanto, and this is very EDCable at 3.5 inches blade and about 3.5 inches or 3 3/4 inches in the handle.
Those are really nice size.
Yeah. And I just wear it in the waistband in this excellent sheath. I love these deep carry concepts. What are concealed carry concepts? Concealed. What the hell are they called?
Discreet carry concepts.
Discreet. Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Discreet carry concepts. They're really excellent. I have them on a number of my fixed blade knives that I carry on my person, just for daily use.
So do you get those clips aftermarket and put them on the sort of the eyelet overlays that they provide on their sheaths?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And a lot of people are now making their sheaths to take them because a lot of people really like them. So I bought a bunch of them. They're only $11, and they're really high quality, and you can carry a fixed blade knife deeply in your front pocket with that if you so choose. I carry it on my belt, but yeah, they're really cool. So yeah, this is a new and proud purchase.
Hogtooth Knives.
Yeah, Hogtooth Knives.
Now, Petrified Fish Knives, are they folding knife company? I'm trying to look up.
Yes. Now, Petrified Fish is very much on the.
I Google image searched. No, don't. It summoned it. I shouldn't have said Google image. No.
It summoned it. Here, hang on.
Okay. Let me look up Petrified Knives.
This is
Petrified Fish Knives.
We do a monthly knife giveaway, and this month's giveaway was a budget bundle. And so we're giving a couple of knives, and one of them is a petrified fish that was donated to the channel by This Old Sword Blade Reviews. And this is the kind of knife they produce. It's a $28, I believe, nicely milled G10, deep carry pocket clip, steel liners, inset steel liners with very nice action on bearings, very sharp blade. This is D2 blade steel, like really incredible action and dirt cheap, like very inexpensive. And there's a lot of this going on.
So I assume that's made in China.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
I'm
yes.
Curious.
Yvonne said, I use a similar Ulti clip 3.3. Yeah.
Discreet carry concepts and Ulti clip. That's sort of their competitor, right?
Yes. I would say that those are the two for my pocketable.
Yes. So I think we attempted, I think we were successful. The dick pic.
Oh, we seem to have lost Zach. Grumpy Grunt says Petrified Fish is really good at knife-shaped knives. Knife-shaped knives. That's interesting. I'm sensing your criticism. It seems like this would be a very capable knife for sure, and it's got all the hallmarks of modern fit and finish that we go for. But I'm picking up what you're putting down at the same time. They are. This is kind of how I'm feeling about a lot of these brands, and I recently heard these brands referred to as reviewer brands, and I thought that was interesting. And these reviewer brands, dirty cheap versus dirt cheap. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, well, I think I do know what that means. This is a family show. No, so many of these companies have seemed to have popped up, and maybe they're not popping up. I need to really actually investigate and figure this out. Are these all OEMs that have been there for a long time, making these making OEM knives for various companies that are now starting to look at we and look at other Riot and other companies and see that they have come out with their own product lines. They're not just OEMing it, they're using some of their in-house talent to generate their own. And so they say, okay, we're going to call ourselves our outward facing brand Petrified Fish, because that sounds cool. I wonder if that's what's going on. I don't know if they're like all brand new outfits that are just popping up and starting.
The other could be, you know, with like one of the things I was listening on like a Knife Nuts podcast was like sort of the procurement mindset of some of the collectors. Like, I always want the new thing. Like, I do wonder if over there you have someone that's a big maker that basically has their little offshoot brand with a new brand. It's made by the same machines that make the big brand, but people are like, oh, this is a new brand, new label, that sort of thing. Like, there's no transparency behind it. And I mean, it's difficult to get transparency with any maker. There's always stuff that's hidden. You don't want to go full open kimono and everything, but I think over there it could be really easy for all kinds of weird stuff to happen over there.
No doubt about that. And but to your first point, a lot of companies, or a number of companies, have done that sort of Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Acura thing with Civivi. You know, there's We Knives, and then Civivi came out as their budget brand, and now Civivis are almost eclipsing We in their popularity and how cool and how many models they put out. And the prices have crept up. Now they have produced another, you know, now they're real budget. No, we really mean this is budget. And that's someone help me out there. What's
that
the
comment there? Totally. Yeah.
Grumpy Grunt. It's the golden age of knives, and there are there are companies all over the world trying to catch the wave and cash in on it. Yeah.
And that is a good thing for the consumer.
Yep.
Maximum choices.
Yep. Todd Carr, good to have you. Oh, you've been in the chat. Good to talk to you, Todd. I wonder, does Petrified Fish get their knives made by SRM Knives? I don't know. SRM is San Renmu, right? I mean, I'm presuming that's SRM. Sencut, thank you. Sencut and Asher are good to go. So who's Asher? So it goes Sencut, Civivi, that's the progressing. But Asher, I don't know. Knife making is a field which breeds an endless supply of innovation, technology, and design. Think Vikings, Romans, etc. Yes, there are
Vikings.
A couple. Yeah. There are a couple of things that that push. It's like pornography pushes technology for sure.
Oh yeah, okay,
it's
there
like,
we're going. Good. Okay.
Tangram was ahead of the game. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know where Tangram went. They need to come back because they had some really excellent knives. But yeah, war technology and pornography technology seem to, or war efforts and porn efforts seem to have pushed technology in some excellent directions, but also ones that we might not be responsible for. Hey, you know, I heard an interesting thing, and this conversation is reminding me of this, and I heard it on a recent Joe Rogan podcast where he had Tristan Harris and another guy, two guys who were on The Social Dilemma, that movie where they're talking about how crazy and out of control social media and just the internet in general is and how it's destroying us. They were talking, and one of them said that he was quoting someone else. I can't remember who it was, but he said he was defining the fundamental problem of humanity. And he broke it down like this. He said, we have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. That's our problem, you know? And yeah, that's right.
And it gets worse with social media because the algorithms are machines that don't get what humans are. And they try to categorize you. Like, if you follow things, like whatever you follow is a mirror reflection of you. And so the algorithm is going to try to turn you into a square in a square hole, square block. And you aren't like that. And so it's really gets weird when we talk about using social media just recreationally, or in our case for marketing. It's almost impossible because you're basically, you have to become so simple and in some ways so cynical, because that algorithm does define who you can reach, who sees what you're doing. or you're just basically like the guy in the party by himself who's not talking to anybody, and you're wondering, why don't people talk to me? That's a nightmare situation for a lot of new makers that are trying to like figure out how to get going in social media. We've been fortunate, to have a kind of a ruthless focus on what our brand is. Like, it's pretty clear what we're trying to do. But I was talking with a friend of mine who's in filmmaking, and it's crazy hard to get ahead. So we've been really fortunate. But yeah, humanity is basically AI technology is trying to like shape us and define us, and it's not very good. Like, the technology is incredible, but they're basically people trying to code to describe what human beings are, to describe what our choices are, and what our desires are, try to predict how to squeeze money out of us and stuff. And it's not very efficient. I'll stop rambling. This is beer and a half. I'm totally sober, I swear.
I believe it. Yeah. Hey, Jim, put that last comment up, would you? Would you please? My memory, especially at this hour, is not what it once was. Talking about Asher knives. That's what it was. I'm embarrassed that I asked Asher. Maybe in my mind, I always just think Asher knives. Yeah, I had him on the podcast. Great guy, and the knives are really cool. He sent me a couple to check out. And I think you are right about the QSP and the assembling them. Asher is a one-man show out of Pittsburgh, OEM somewhere in China, but not sure which. Great value. Yeah, they're very nice. I do remember his first one. I was like, that looks exactly like a bug out. And I think he must have heard that from a couple of other people. He made a couple of quick changes that totally made the knife seem unique all of a sudden, which was cool. Professor EDC says, too many options, but not equal quality nor ethics in knife design and build. That's interesting. For a healthy capitalism, good taste is absolutely necessary. This was said by the father of modern economics. Edward, with I was gonna say Edward Bernays, but he's propaganda. So what were you saying about ethics of design and build?
You mean like intellectual property rights, or what?
Yeah,
I'm curious.
I am curious too, because to that end, you still see. I mean, you go to I went to Amazon and searched for. Can't remember one of the new Chinese brands, one of the new reviewer brands, so to speak, that I wanted to check out, and it took me to a page that had all of these. It had a Strider SNG, but it was by Effin Grow for $30. I was like, I mean, it looked exactly
all
like
the clones. Yeah.
I was kind of shocked to see that on Amazon. Maybe I'm just totally a babe in the woods about this. Grumpy Grunt says, yeah, people got on him for making knockoffs. He was quick to respond to what the community wanted and made changes. Agreed. And you know what, man? Everyone's allowed mistakes, and he was out of the gate, and in any case, it's not like it was a big scandal or anything. It just looked somewhat similar. But I think what he did really improved the design. Sean M says, we never see the amount of weaponry produced as our ancestors have ever. I'm sorry, I'm not reading this right. We have never seen the amount of weaponry produced as our ancestors have ever seen. Whose knives will future citizens be digging up? Kershaw, Spyderco, Chavez. It is so interesting. That's true. They're going to have so much crap to dig up. I mean, imagine our civilization. So hopefully
they would find your room and they would think of the great warrior.
Yeah, that's right. Because when the end comes, I'm coming down here.
Yeah, I mean, how many swords are in the room? It'd have to be a warrior.
Yeah, this great man sat on his throne.
Or my house. They would think I was like some high status warrior. Not high status. It's a tiny house. But all they would find would just be the tomahawk heads.
Oh, okay. Here you go. So Ryan mentioned this earlier. Ryan shows a Quill on Instagram, pretty much on the
Thank you, North Code. Yes, I love those posts.
Yeah, beautiful. They're always kind of on a window.
And the dick pic too.
And the dick pic. That's right. They're that one I have to. They're always on the window, and they always have beautiful light, so I can finish that thought. The dick pic, very, very cool.
There we go.
Another implement of
and hopefully the eyelets are spaced. They're intended to be spaced for backwards compatibility with discrete carry concepts or multi-clip. Well, I was trying to say that before I got cut off by tech.
Well, the good thing about both of those, here's an ulti-clip and a discrete carry concepts. They both feature slots, so you don't have to be nuts on. You can, you can move it around a little bit. So and I like the little hook on the dick pic, so you can
the pocket hook,
do the Elvia pocket hook kind of thing. Like,
yep.
I love that.
And so that was, I don't even know who came up with that. I remember just seeing that so many places everywhere on Instagram. And that gets into like a design ethics thing where it's like, it was so copied so fast. Who got credit for it? I don't know.
Yeah, this is the first place I saw it, was on the Copus Designs Elvia. Blood Groove says, future archaeologists, we have found the legendary Mall Ninja. Yes. That's pretty
Could you imagine like they do a wax like sculpture,
kind of
in a museum of like a Mall Ninja, what they think a Mall Ninja would be?
Yeah.
I wonder how accurate that would be.
So someone just commented that the dick pic looks a bit like a scythe.
Yes.
Hero Stick says, not to geek out too much. Hey, man, Hero Sticks, this is where you get to geek out too much. Not to geek out too much, but I like to think the knives in my collection will get passed down, used, cherished, and the ones I will buy will prove worthy. Yes, and your grandchildren will fight tooth and nail over each one. That's what I like to imagine, too.
Bob, in reality, the T1000, right, the chrome skeleton thing is going to use the Quill as a toothpick.
T1000.
Because the Quill won't rust, Same with this, the dick pic, stainless 420 steel.
Yeah.
The Terminator that slays our ancestors, is going to just carry this around in here.
Yeah, after it devours my flesh, it'll be searching my genes. It'll be like,
toothpick.
Perfect.
Yeah, it does look like the Death's Grim Reaper scythe.
So tell us a little bit about this. This might confuse people a little bit.
So
tell us about the origin of the name, and then what is it used for?
So the origin of the name of the dick pic, I had a coworker who, when he was growing up in the 60s in North Carolina, backwoods North Carolina, he would hitchhike, but he knew hitchhiking was a sketchy thing, so he kept an ice pick in his boot. Well, after football practice, hot summer day, he's hitchhiking. This guy picks him up. He gets in the car, and the guy immediately puts his hand on the inside of his thigh, and he tells me like, "Oh, it's like tunnel vision." This is decades ago that this happened to him. Mm-hmm. He said he got tunnel vision, but he pulled out the ice pick and then stuck it in the guy's forearm, and the guy stopped groping him instantly. He was like waving his arm around. The car
crazy
was
how that happens.
He ran out of the car, because it's going low speed because the guy was groping him instantly. And so I was telling that story to some friends of mine, as martial arts friends and some film guys. And at the time, we had a concept for a groin-conforming defensive weapons, for women. I will not disclose the name because it's a G-rated podcast, but it was a brilliant name. And so one of the people heard the story with this gentleman, my coworker, who used the ice pick to stop the grope, and he said, if you make one for men, you should call it the dick pick. And we said, we got to do that now. And so what's funny about that is when we started designing the dick pick, it was actually supposed to be a Pikal style blade with another projecting blade so that you could grab an ice pick grip, stab and rip and then punch with it. But because we're so slow at getting things made, because we're small, some knife makers on Instagram started making Pikal style blades with a little I guess it was an extended thumb cap, but you could punch with it. It wasn't they didn't take it to the point where it was a spike. But, if someone comes up with the same design you had, that meant your design really wasn't that distinctive, And it's one of those things you got to not have an ego about it and just get over it. And so we were like, all right, rethink the dick pic. We had a lot of stuff going on. This was 2017 when we had the idea for dick pic, and it's 2021. Okay, that's how slow we are. So eventually it came out, and we decided to simplify it to a spike, which is quite pointy. That's why it needs a carry system. It's much pointier than the Quill, with a gripping surface here that could also double as a pry bar or a chisel and a light percussive hammer face. And so we decided to also get, sort of sickle like, not sickle, that's kind of communist, scythe like shapes. So that's what we went with. It does pry things well. It does project out the hand. If you grip it in ice pick grips, you kind of got two ways to hurt somebody. You can grip it like this. Remember RoboCop? RoboCop. Remember he's got the data spike.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yeah. Yes, Sean, that's the dick pic right there, man.
Yeah, so that's the dick pic. It's very handsome. It's the hardest dick pic you'll ever see. It's the only dick pic anyone wants to talk about. So we've been selling these. We actually sold out of multiple batches. We finally made our biggest dick pic batch ever. And we haven't sold out quite yet. I think we got like 10 left, which is nice. So I don't like selling out of anything. That means I failed to anticipate, proper supply and demand. Our thing, we don't do artificial scarcity. Our business model is we want to have, if someone wants our products, we want them to have it. The problem is you're mind reading whenever you launch anything new, Yeah. And so with the dick pics, we went through 3 batches. They sold out in hours. Finally, big batch. We got a few. We had a naming contest for it. Boy, we had some of those names people suggested were like, woo. But the dick pic could not be dethroned because we had second guessed it. Because it's like, is the algorithm going to censor us for having it called the dick pic?
It's like what Michael's saying right here. The thought of someone Googling dick pic and seeing this.
And we had to come up with our own hashtag on Instagram because you couldn't even, if you added the K, that didn't matter. So we got hashtag dongless dick pics. We came up with that. And so, it's G-rated.
Andrew wants one.
Yes, they are available. And so they have a pocket hook sheath. You can wear it tucked like above your groin, which is why it's called the dick pic, or pocket. And if you are operator guy, you got the Molly vest with your plate carrier, you can tuck it like it's narrow enough to slide through the Molly Pals loops as well for like a get off me tool.
Yeah.
And you can do less lethal things with these. We always love less lethal capabilities. If you got to double grip it,
like
or
stab
just do
someone
raking.
in the foot.
Yeah, or just rake with it, just the tip, right? But you got to be careful with that because if because it's protruding this much, I've got fat hands, and I've tested these things, and if you lag on your motions, if you aren't moving in sync, you could. Yes. So I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, this is going to work for everybody. You got to really know what you're doing.
Yeah, and practice with everything.
Yeah, practice with everything.
Yeah, some people are looking at this and liking it and wanting to get one. So
yes, thank you. Order.
Go to wingardwearables.com.
Yes. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm
getting in on the Stingray. I'm very, very, very excited about the Stingray.
Stingray number 7.
Thank you. I think 3s, good things come in 3s. And so like 3 Wingard Wearables Tomahawks is just the right thing.
So there won't be 4, like when we come out with a smokable tomahawk?
Oh, I'll definitely get a smokable tomahawk.
We're going to call that one the Lung Ripper.
The lung. I'm so in.
I didn't come up with that. Someone suggested that. And our challenge is I don't smoke anything. Okay. So it's like, all right, I'm an engineer. So it's like, I got to figure out how to get a smokable tomahawk, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People figure that out, but I want to have it's smokable of any substance. But I don't know this for a fact, but apparently if you smoke one substance versus another, they're completely different combustion timeframes and heats you want to enjoy tobacco versus getting legalized everywhere marijuana. But I don't smoke anything. So I got a lot of engineering work to do. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I do know that from pipe smokers, they say that once you have it used for tobacco or marijuana, you cannot swap between them.
Yeah.
But I don't know how hard it will be to make one that is adaptable for both. As in, you buy it, you want to use it as your, pot tomahawk or whatever, or tobacco tomahawk. Can one design do both? I don't know.
Well, you just
That's
buy
part
2.
of the risk.
You buy 2.
That's true. If you're burning your money smoking tobacco or marijuana either way, you might as well. That's true.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a smoker of both, you gotta get
at both times. Dual lung rippers. God gave you two lungs.
I can't remember which one is which, man.
Yeah, you had two lungs. That's true.
I love the idea of a of the peace pipe or whatever. I'm sure it's not called that, but the smoking tomahawk, the pipe.
It's gonna have a spike though. That's the problem with most pipe tomahawks.
Well, it's got a bowl on the top. And
not
then
ours. No.
It's gonna have a spike.
It's gonna have a spike.
Oh man, it's like a warhammer that you can smoke.
Exactly.
It's like it's before you go berserking. You
calm down after your kill. You're like, oh
yeah. But my question to you is, I always kind of had this inkling about a pipe tomahawk that the tunnel running through the shaft would reduce its structural integrity.
It depends on how ornamented it is. There were some that were so delicate and had like pewter inlays that historically they were either strictly ceremonial, or you would disassemble it and swap out your fancy smoking handle with like a solid hickory one. What we want to do for the lung ripper is have the tomahawk designed so that it will be smokable and usable. So we think we're going to have a metal stem on the outside, and then a solid solid hickory handle, and then the tube runs on one side. So that way you don't have a hollowed out, like you have an applique, like an extra metal tube, or going alongside it. It's hard to hold. So let's say I'm smoking this. So I got a solid hickory handle, and then laid in there alongside it is the tube, and then a sidecar pipe bowl.
Oh, sidecar. That's cool. Yeah, it's like a warhammer you can smoke. This is the best show ever.
Hopefully this is good. Yeah. But, we're not going to make like, Hunter Biden crack pipe smoking tomahawk. It's a little too far. But marijuana, that's getting legalized everywhere. Tobacco has been legalized for forever. So, if it can do both, that would be good. It seems foolish to make one just that can only be optimized for pipe and only optimized for marijuana. It takes so much design effort. We'd like one to do both.
Yeah.
And it's going to look great. I'm really excited to launch that one. But this is how long it's going to take. We're going to be lucky to get that out in 2023.
Oh, geez. Okay. Sean M just bought one, and I'm assuming he meant the dick pic, because that was the last thing we were talking about.
Lovely.
That he could purchase. So that's cool.
We're going to pack it up and send it to you tomorrow.
That's awesome. You ship quickly. I love that.
I do. Next day.
Because man, you lay down the money, and it's like, where's my tomahawk?
I know. We gotta get it, and then wait till dick pic, and then the lung ripper. Ooh.
The lung ripper. Man.
The future is bright and smoky.
Is it TSA approved? Interesting.
Do they approve anything?
I had when they
even if you have something that gets through a metal detector that can stab somebody, that's not approved. It just got you snuck it past and you're sneaky, right?
Do people still pipe tobacco? Smoke? Yeah, they do.
I would not be shocked if more people smoke tobacco today than in the 1600s, right? Because there were fewer people back then.
Oh, good point.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I enjoy a cigar from time to time, and the place where I buy it has a little lounge, and it's always men. Guys hang out smoking cigars and pipes, and there are plenty of guys smoking pipes. And man, some of those tobaccos smell really good.
So, just curious, are there any women on this podcast?
In the chat. On occasion, we will have Lindy Lou, or there are a few others who join us every once in a while. Would a hollow metal tube reinforced carbon fiber work for a pipe?
Don't know if it's, you got it, you are inhaling it. So whatever material we use and whatever material we use to seal the smoke has to be less toxic than whatever you're smoking.
Blood Groove says, I heard knitting needles are TSA approved. Oof. That's
I should get my wife to knit with 2 dick pics, because she actually knitted this cardigan for me.
Oh, get out, man. That's nice.
She loves me.
That's nice.
This took like 40 hours to make. It's very warm. I'm kind of sweaty right now because of the light. So
it's very.
And she made the shirt too. So
she made the shirt.
She sewed that.
Oh, okay. That sweater has a very regal look.
Yes, it does. It's very good. You know, if I'm going out, like I don't like if I go out, it's cold. Like I'm like this. You know, go to the mailbox, put the dick pic in the mail tomorrow.
Dropping a dick pic in the mail tomorrow. Yeah, and
that's right.
So I just bought a dick pic for my wife. That sounds weird, but you know.
No, it's an amazing age we live in. Yeah.
Yeah. And right there, man, right in the purse, draw it out, you know, and it's got that awesome carry method. Sweet.
And you can also be sneaky with it here. So this is I did a camera. All right, so it's hidden. RoboCop, remember the data scope?
Oh yeah.
So you can be a little discreet with it. The Quill is easier though because it's smaller to conceal in the hand.
Sean M says knife collectors are the safest and most law-abiding citizens. Who has ever found an ultra-expensive knife at a crime scene?
Exactly. It's always a kitchen knife or something.
We had the conversation once.
I do have a low battery. So
okay.
I may disappear.
All right. Well, we are, you know what? I think it's time to do a little, hey, baby, make sure you grab your dick pic before you leave. Why do you think I bought it for you, baby? And then you can, I love you.
Yeah, the Quill. You can love her back with the Quill.
Well, while you have your, still have a little bit of battery, let's have a quick debate. At the end of this show, we have a little debate. We call it a knife fight.
All right, I'm gonna make myself look taller and more intimidating.
That sweater will help, man.
There we go.
Oh my God.
I'm ready to go. I'm towering. I'm a giant. Okay, here we go.
This knife fight is super steel versus budget steel, and I think somewhere in the last 3 or 2.5 years, this may have come up before, but I don't remember. Probably has, but they both have their strong points. And they both have their weak points.
Can I choose which side?
Yes, you may.
You've ambushed me with this. I'll take budget steel.
Okay, budget steel. Okay, and you can choose whether you go first or second.
I'll go second.
Okay,
it's always better.
Yeah, I agree. Blood Group says I'm going to order a Quill and get a nose piercing for convenient carry.
Right here. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I will repost you on social media
like that. It's like what?
Yeah. We have had a guy who had an ear piercing who did loop it, tuck it behind the ear, and had it go out, which looked. But I posted it. So I'll post it. Now, if you have the piercing like down here, like south of the equator, I can't post that.
No. I smoke a tobacco pipe and cannabis. When you smoke tobacco through a bowl, it tastes good. When you smoke cannabis through a tobacco pipe, it tastes like crap. The way you smoke both are different too. Oh, that's interesting.
Can you email me? I'm serious. That person who had that comment, email me. Because I'm an engineer who doesn't smoke either, but a good engineer does his research and can make a design, even though he's not the user for it. Yes. I'm not saying I'm a good engineer, but I'll attempt to be. So seriously, email me b_edgy@wingardwearables.com. I want to talk to you.
Cool.
Sorry.
No.
So debate. We got the debate. Look at that. Yeah, I'm towering. I'm ready to go.
All right. So you want to go second? We both get a minute. I love CPM S110V. Good to have you here, sir. Okay, starting in, and I'm super steel. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Budget steel is a great thing. Budget steel is great if you plan on being a materialist, like the host of this show, and you plan on having lots and lots of knives. You get your budget steel and you use them and they dull, but you just reach for another knife and that's fine. You use that one and it dulls, and you reach for another budget steel knife and that one dulls. I say the way to go is super steel. You get the absolute best you can afford, and then you go with that and you have fewer of them. Now with the super steels, the whole point behind this is that you have maximum edge retention and maximum corrosion resistance. So why would you not opt for fewer knives, maybe slightly more expensive knives with the super steel that you only have to sharpen every once in a while, versus having to get a whole bunch of knives with budget steel that you have to sharpen all the time? And scene. That was 1 minute. 1 minute of
Are we
brilliance.
ready? I look huge now. Wait, hold on. Here we go.
All right. In 3, 2, you're on.
You don't need super steels to be awesome. Our ancestors, empires were built with bronze, with wrought iron, like completely without needing super steels. That was back when blades, you counted your life on them every day. Now, okay, some pocket jewelry, you want your super steel, that's fine. You can spend whatever you want, but budget steel has the way to go. And, the world is built with budget steels. The world is held together with mild steel. And when you talk about knives, if it's, people enjoy sharpening. I like it. It's very relaxing. The sound, I'm doing a bad impersonation of it. But, if you got to sharpen it, just be a man. Get the sharpening. Don't wuss out about it. So yeah, super steels overrated. They didn't have super steels in the Roman Empire. They didn't have super steels like in Last of the Mohicans. Magua didn't use super steel. What's a super steel name, Bob? Can you interject? Give me a one of those crazy letter alphabetic.
M390.
Okay, M390. They didn't need it to win back then. Didn't have it on D-Day. None of those bayonets were made from it. No K-bars were made from it.
You do understand that none of this counts because you've gone beyond your 1 minute.
But I will call time distortion field it should count.
No, of course it counts.
So
and
your first person writes on here. Wait, drives innovation. Yeah,
the super steel
we
drives the innovation, and then we end with budget S30V and such. Yeah, exactly.
Boy, this is a really good angle.
154 is 154 is my favorite steel of all time. Sean, I am with you 100%. I love 154
EDC a strop. That's right. It could be it could look like a belt. It could be very tasteful.
Yeah,
or it could look like a paddle that could make you desired by women and some men. So
indeed, that's a good way of looking at it. Grumpy Grunt says, "Give me a knife and CPM Magna Cut, and I will tell you what my final answer on this one is. Until then, budget steel." I'm shocked at how much I still pay attention to the steel, because some of the coolest designs are not that way, are not in those steels. Show me a super steel blade that is 9 inches or longer, fixed blade.
I do have a question about that.
The toughness issue.
So is that the issue with the super steels? They get really high hardness, but they're more brittle? Or is that what makes them super? They can be high hardness and somehow not brittle.
High hardness and high corrosion resistance, and then the chemical composition determining. Well, because that to get that
is
super
true. Blood groove. Yeah, the ever evolving
budget steels uses
timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Like 440.
People turn their noses at it. Yeah,
it's more brittle. I heard S10V says, I feel like Magna Cut is going to suck at first because of the heat treat. Oh, interesting. I haven't heard anything about it sucking. Kevin Moore says, just bought the large quill. I'm going to have to stop watching this show. Ha! Nice. Kevin?
I should have brought 2 quills out so I could do a heart. Why didn't I think of that?
Here, put it up. Put it up.
Yeah.
Like that. Boom. Just like the Brady Bunch, man.
There we go. I can't even do the hand-eye coordination. So,
Bob, did we get your top new brands for 2021? I might have missed it. Hero Sticks. The reason I'm asking is because I haven't kept up with those brands, but I know a lot have. I mean, I'm always late to the party. I'm only really getting into Civivis right now. I mean, for a long time, and this too will pass. What happens is I end up keeping only the things that I'm really going to carry. That's totally not true. That's not what I mean. I intend to keep the things that I only carry. And what I only really tend to carry these days are my higher end stuff. I get the Civivis because they have a candy appeal to me. And that sounds so stupid and spoiled. And I don't mean it to. These are all luxury items we're talking about here, with few exceptions. I could get along with 0.1% of my knife collection for the rest of my life, and I would be just fine. So I don't even know where I was going with that. Hollywood Tactical says the problem with most of the super steels is that they have finicky heat treat ranges. Yeah, that's true. So often are too soft and only perform as much as D2. sometimes like when ZT first started using LMAX, they weren't used to it and they were burning the edges, and you were hearing a lot about bad heat treats or heat treats ruined by high grinder heats on the edges and
that's
stuff like
learning curve with a new material, though. Hopefully that gets resolved.
Yeah, but it wasn't the first time LMAX was ever used. And, Zero Tolerance seems like the kind of company that should have that dialed in before they're asking you for, $250 for a special knife. 14C28N, Matt Harvey. Yes, I love 14C28N. You know who loves that steel is Jared Neve. He's always talking about it, especially the way I think Tucson does it. He really likes Mattisfaction. I did see his chart that showed M390 is all over the place with heat treats. That's interesting. Are you talking about different companies? Sean says, I get too many knives to ever need to sharpen them. That is the sad and shameful truth for me, too. And, cutting sandwiches doesn't really dull knives quickly. Mike Flamian. Hello, Mike. Excuse me. LMAX is good if they cook it right. Yeah. Yeah, I only have one LMAX left, and it's a ZT, but it's after they figured it out. Shane Gable says, as a man who likes women, I'm supposed to wear a quill behind my left ear?
Yes, and I'm wearing mine behind the left ear as well. I'm not sure which way it's showing on camera.
So as a Gen Xer growing up, left is right, right is wrong was the key key for one earring.
Yeah, you're very unwoke.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Forever unwoke. Blade-tastic knives, edge geometry and heat treatment play more of an important role than composition of the steel. Yes,
blade-tastic knives. You have a very familiar picture. I think
he's doing Sinawali with some Ganuntings.
I wonder if that is on Instagram who I think it is.
The best steel blades probably won't be steel in a few years.
Oh, that is a bold prediction.
Maybe it's all Terravantium.
Is it ceramic?
No, it's a dendritic cobalt.
Is that, if it's not steel, what would it be?
Dendritic cobalt. This stuff that a company called Terrain 365 is using on their knives. It's like, so all their knives are totally waterproof. They use this stuff that they call Terravantium, and it's dendritic cobalt metal. I don't know what
that's
that
better than
means.
Ceramic, because that would be taking us back to the Stone Age.
Ceramic is just really brittle, right?
Yeah.
Todd Carr, from what I've read and seen, MagnaCut's supreme toughness at low HRC of 60 to 61. Fixed blades will be like this, but EDC knives will be higher. Yeah, it's 65 edge retention. Yeah, right. Because for fixed blades, you're assuming that you're doing harder work, and you might be doing something that involves impact. And the higher the HRC, the more brittle it's going to be, probably, right? Vanex 37 is amazing. I just don't know. There are certain steel, like Vanex, I hear it.
It's like beers on the shelf. You just can't try them all.
But Vanex is the beer on the shelf that you can't reach. It's like unobtainium. Yeah, adamantium. Exactly. Terravantium. Yes, it fits perfectly with those two. With those two things. Let's see. Terravantium and tungsten carbide everywhere. Funny story. A good friend of mine is a former Marine sniper, and his wedding ring is tungsten carbide, which is part of the jacketing to a bullet, as far as I know, for penetrating
the core. Yeah, the core of the bullet.
The core. Okay. So when he got his wedding ring, he was a bartender at the time, and he was after hours showing off to his friends. He's like, I have, my wedding ring is tungsten carbide. It's like the toughest material in the world. This is what we used when I was deployed. And then he throws it against the ground and it shatters into a million pieces. He's like, oh shit. And his wife was not happy. I want to try M398 and Rex 121. Okay, so this is hilarious. I didn't know that M398 was actually a thing until this very same day. I was looking at one of the 4 new knives from Tucson, and they use M398, and I thought it was a misprint. It's like, what the hell is that? M390, M398. It's 8 better than M390, obviously. So, all right, I'm getting a little tired out here on the East Coast.
I'm gonna lose battery power in seconds,
and you're losing battery power. Zach, thank you for so much for coming on, man. I know it was a last minute thing, and I really appreciate it.
Stingray batch 2 will happen maybe next week. And then there'll be a batch 3, small batches till we catch up. But, you know, if you desire it, it'll be available one day. All right. You guys be edgy. Have a good night. I'm going to peace out. Okay. Thank you very much, Bob, for hosting. Is Jim in the background?
My pleasure. He is indeed.
Jim, I heard you like ice picks. You collect ice picks. You should get a dick pic. Just saying. Shameless plug. I got to get out of here. Thank you. The people who ordered, thank you very much. And,
all right, man.
You guys take care.
Always nice talking to you, sir.
Bye.
Take care, man. All right, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Zac Wingard of Wingard Wearables. Great. Matt Harvey, thank you so much. It was great to have him show up. I'm really excited about the Stingray. I am that number 7 is earmarked for me, and I'm very excited. That looks like a beautiful specimen, and I'm very excited. And of course, you know, I'm going to be showing it off here like it's going out of style. One quick thing before I go, I just wanted to let everyone know I got the Civivi Hadros, and I think it's really cool. I'll let you know what I think more about it on the midweek supplemental. This knife is a year old, so it's not anything new, but you know me, I'm catching up, and I love it. I think it's really, really a sweet knife. All right, check us out on Sunday for a great interview. We got Chris Stroop with Stroop Knives. Really great custom knife outfit out of North Carolina. Really great interview. This guy's interesting and dynamic. Check it out for sure. And then, of course, next Wednesday, the supplemental. Keep your eyes peeled. I got some close-up videos coming too. All right, everybody. Love your stuff, Bob. Good show. Thank you, iHeart CPMS 110V. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. He was an awesome guest, says Mattisfaction. I agree. I love that guy. I think what he's doing is so cool, and he's a smart dude. I like talking to him because he knows a lot. He's got a big brain. Good night, Michael. Great to have you here at Todd Carr. Have a great night, everybody. JN, see you later. See you, sir. Always a pleasure. Grumpy Grunt. Stroop makes some really nice stuff. He does. It looks like I'm going to be getting myself a little Christmas present from him. I'm buying it for myself from him. EDC Oz, great show. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And oh, yes, please do check us out. You can download not this show, but all of the podcasts, the Wednesday supplemental and the Saturday, the Sunday interview shows on all of these podcast apps and more. Blade Ogre, awesome show. Thank you, Blade Ogre. Great to have you here. Great to have everyone here. I really appreciate your spending your time with me. It's great, great fun for me, and I really appreciate it. All right, everybody. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.